critical care. The Prime Minister says it's essential that national health insurance becomes a reality.
Protocol showdown, the row over a visit to BAMSI intensifies.
If you came to the campus of the Queen's College Campus this morning, you would have seen a sea of green. That coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The country's leader hitting back at those who criticize a comprehensive health plan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. The ongoing debate over the implementation of the National Health Insurance Plan in January 2016 has now gotten a response from the Prime Minister as he officially opened the International Labour Organization's Labour Ministers Conference at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel.
Mr. Christie used the platform to highlight the importance and significance of Bahamians being afforded access to quality health care. It's something that the health minister as well as the official opposition has since commented on. Clint Watson has the story.
There are people in our country who cannot purchase their own environment. They cannot afford to buy their own health insurance.
It's been a view Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie has had since becoming Prime Minister and has been the impetus behind his thrust to implement the critical National Health Insurance Plan. But critics suggest another tax to fund what has been estimated as a plan costing more than $500 million annually might be too much. Mr. Christie went on the defence for those who criticize the implementation of the plan by 2016.
And for politicians to know that their health insurance is contributed to by the state. And for rich doctors to know they could buy it. But every day people die because they can't afford it.
Health Minister Dr. Perry Gomez says government is looking at various funding and costing options. He, however, noted that a recent report by a foreign consultant company on healthcare statistics spoke to mortality rates at public wards, indicating that persons are 5 times more likely to die as opposed to those on private wards. Dr. Gomez says this builds a stronger case for NHI.
Having worked in the institution, that's why I have so much passion about it. I know about the inequities, the ease that people with insurance have with getting tests done. Some of the things that mean life and death. And if you don't have the money readily available in circumstances where you have no insurance, then that's a difficult situation to be in.
Bringing it closer to home, the Prime Minister shed light on those who struggle on a daily basis to take care of their loved ones amidst a myriad of challenges, noting that there must be help for those who can't help themselves.
There are people in our country who every morning they wake up, they do not know what to do with their child or children who are affected similarly.
Opposition leader and physician Dr. Hubert Minnis says the FNM isn't opposed to NHI, but rather the way it's being implemented.
The introduction of an NHI, which we feel is appropriate, should be done in stages. The plans of revamping the healthcare system, the plans of moving forward to ensure that every family island, as well as those in New Providence, have affordable health care. The plans to ensure that quality care is delivered to all. We think that's the proper way to go.
Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
The controversy surrounding the unauthorized visit at BAMSI by members of the opposition on Sunday past made its way to the floor of the House of Assembly this morning. Minister responsible for BAMSI, the Honourable V. Alfred Gray, claimed that the opposition bullied their way onto the site.
Mr. Speaker, such unauthorized entry to the farm and to the facilities at BAMSI is totally unacceptable, and it will not be allowed. Anyone wishing to visit the farm, Mr. Speaker, to tour or otherwise, must seek the permission of the management of the farm in order to do so. No unauthorized entry to the farm or those facilities will be permitted.
Suggesting that security has not been beefed up since the BAMSI fire, opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis claimed they had no problems getting onto the campus.
We toured the site, and at no time was any security personnel. While leaving the site 2.5 hours later, on exit of the site, a security personnel finally showed up. He did not identify himself. We identified ourselves, and we subsequently left the farm.
Also from the House of Assembly, members began debate on the Banks and Trust Companies Regulations Amendment Bill 2015. Minister of State for Finance, Golden Isles Member of Parliament Michael Halkitis moved the bill and said the amendments are just a part of the constant upgrades to the financial services sector. In some instances, he says, we have to ensure that we do not over-regulate the industry, at the same time remaining compliant with international standards.
We believe will only serve to enhance the effectiveness of our banking supervisory practices and ensure that we are adhering to standards considered appropriate for the conduct of banking and trust business. And I should say here again, Mr. Speaker, the ultimate objective is the protection of the public and the protection of the reputation of this jurisdiction. Accelerated from the time of 2000, what we will continue to see is the evolution of our regulatory, of the legislation that underpins our regulatory regime.
Still at the House of Assembly, Social Services Minister, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, announced that the Bahamas has signed on to 2 optional protocols of the United Nations Convention for Child Protection. She says this means the Bahamas stands in solidarity with other member states of the UN in demonstrating continued support for the welfare and protection of young people.
Mr. Speaker, the chief objective of the first protocol is to limit the use of children in armed conflict. It particularly aims to raise the minimum age for recruitment and actual participation in hostilities to 18 years of age. The chief objective of the second protocol is to provide protection against the sale of children, child prostitution, and child pornography. Mr. Speaker, these optional protocols have been examined, and the government has taken the decision for the Bahamas to join the many other member states of the United Nations in signing them.
Attorney Robin Dawn Lyons has been appointed to serve as a Progressive Liberal Party senator. She replaces Cheryl Bazard, who resigned last year. In a press statement issued this evening, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie said he was delighted that Lyons accepted the invitation to join the dynamic team in the Senate. He described her as a new generation thinker and an activist who has a brilliant future career in public life. He said she is highly intelligent, she has excellent communication skills, and she has a hands-on approach to helping at-risk youth in over-the-hill communities. Lyons attended C.R. Walker and the College of the Bahamas before studying law in England. She has also served on several boards, and she's currently the National Vice Chairperson of the Progressive Liberal Party. A private-public partnership looks to uplift the country.
The Comets from QC touchdown on Village Road to celebrate their historic BAISS track and field win. ZNS Total Sports with full coverage coming up. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
Shell Quality Fuels.